Wrong screen. How Morehouse College is redefining professionalism. Morehouse College is a historical black men's college in Atlanta. And Douglas Cooper, who was black, started his career at IBM in 1987, guys. One day, as he was having lunch with a mentor, notice this, a mentor, we all should have one, especially if we are in our tech career and tech journeys. You should have one. He noticed the cafeteria was serving fried chicken, collard greens, and slices of watermelon. He remembers being very conscious of his blackness in what was a very white environment. Cooper weighed whether eating the lunch would perpetuate black stereotypes. He asked his mentor if he felt the same way. His mentor turned to him and said, "Doug, you think they don't know that you're black?" He recalled with a laugh. It was the simplest explanation as to being as good as you can in what you do and not let other people's perception of you dictate how you carry yourself. Guys, a lot of the stuff that we go through in life, it's just our own perception. Nobody else, a lot of the times, has the same view as you. You can think that many people, and you think that masses thinks of us a certain way. It's not the truth a lot of the times. Yes, there will be some people who do have certain biases and so forth and think that groups of people are all the same way. They're serving fried chicken and watermelon in a cafeteria in IBM, and you're black, and you walk in there, and you don't want to eat because you're ashamed. That perception is just yourself. Everybody likes fried chicken and collard greens and watermelon. Everybody likes it. I'm going to tell you like this. It's good food. It's good food. I went to Colleen's. If you're part of the Patreon, I went to Colleen's with my wife. My daughter was in the hospital. We got out for a date. And Colleen's is a 4.7 star restaurant in Mueller, not an up and coming, an already established community, walkable community in Austin. It's in West Austin. But Colleen's is a small little restaurant, and it's farm to table, but they make some of the best fried chicken, macaroni, collard greens. I'm gonna tell you like this, you walk into that place, it's a whole bunch of folks. There's a whole bunch of diversity. Everybody likes that shit. It's good food. Damn! So this is just a reminder. That these stereotypes are just our own perception, our own reality, but it may not be others. But let's continue with the article. It was the simplest explanation as to being as good as you can in what you do and not to let others people's perception of you dictate how you carry yourself, Cooper said. Today, Cooper is Executive Director of Career Services at Morehouse College, the historical black men's college in Atlanta, whose alumni include Martin Luther King and Spike Lee. And Kamala Harris, who attended Howard University in Washington, D.C., there's a historical black university grad serving as vice president. In his counseling of students, Cooper said that while he has struggled with it, he has encouraged students who wear dreadlocks to cut them off as they move into interview processes and network in more conservative industries like financial services. It's unfortunate that was one of my many accommodations we as Black Americans had to make to decrease the potential of race-based discrimination in the workplace, he added. That was especially true a decade ago, but he said he's seen a shift towards greater acceptance of natural hair since then. Another HBCU, Hampton University, drew a lot of attention for banning dreadlocks and cornrows for some business students in 2001. Researchers in diversity, equity, and inclusion feel that insiders spoke with had mixed opinions. There's a potential cost for keeping dreads in terms of facing biases, but also a potential cost for losing them, in light of possibly losing personal authenticity. There are still complicated dynamics of professionalism in America. The HBCU experience is something of an artificial environment, Cooper pointed out. You're surrounded by all these really motivated, smart, ambitious young black men. You're one of hundreds of thousands, he said, at Morehouse. But when you leave Morehouse, the world will look very different. That's very true. That was one of the reasons why I chose not to go to HBCU, but I understand why others do, because the world is completely different. Cooper said that in the U.S., whether becoming a blacksmith or an attorney, people of color are questioned on their capabilities and professionalism. It's true. The equalizers continue to work on your craft and be the best in terms of quality of the work you provide that will navigate questions of your professionalism. I say it all the time, guys, and I talk about this in my coaching sessions as well when I talk about my personal experiences. There are people who don't belong in these environments. There are people who don't look like us, who are a majority, who don't belong in these environments. They're there for some unknown reason. It's time for you, if you have good skills, a good quality of work, go and take those positions. I look at people every single day based on the quality of work that they deliver and say, wow, are you even trying? Do you belong? How did you get this role? How was I able to come into sales with no experience at all? You've had an entire career as a sales professional, over 10 plus years, and I'm crushing it and you aren't. Yet you have every excuse in the book. I don't have to write accounts. We don't train here. It's people who want to get it done. Take those jobs. You belong. You belong, guys. This is not exactly born out of data. In the Utah State University sociologist Christy Glass extensive interviews, Black leaders reported being under more pressure the further they advance in their careers. As the stage gets bigger, let me read that again. As the stage gets bigger, the spotlight gets bigger, and as you move up, you become even more exceptional for your difference. If being perceived as a professional is really about navigating workplace culture, Cooper said, then another key is networking. A mentor can help you understand office hierarchy of the preferences of particular personalities and how achieving alumni shows what's possible. Let me tell you like this, guys. I'm transitioning my accounts to a gentleman who's taken over the accounts that I have because I'm leaving the sales organization. And I talk about the dynamics of the company that I work for. I am very networked into the executives. And as in the military, when you are at a certain position, and this is rules, this is power dynamics. This is about clubs. This is about where you belong, where you fit. Are you part of the group? Are you not part of the group? There's a lot that goes into these positions and where you land and where you take your career. And it's all a game. I talk about that all the time. It's all a game. No longer is it that you're going to be the worker bee and you're going to get promoted because you work hard. No, you have to be smart. You have to be effective. You have to network. You have to know people. You have to know exactly what they like, what they don't like, what you can do and can't do. There are some things I can't do. I can't speak up and challenge certain people because I have a deep voice or I can come off as intimidating in certain types of meetings. But what I can do is call that person up and say, you are off here, and so forth. There's power dynamics that exist. And you think about it from this perspective of yourself. If you are a CEO or over an entire organization, you don't want to come off as somebody who doesn't know, who isn't informed. And ultimately, a lot of times we can present things to make people look like that. Now, if you build a culture where there's trust and transparency and the people who are going to be speaking up, you can accept what they say, that's your responsibility for doing that. But there's people who don't build cultures like that. And that's where these people eventually will be out But when you get an opportunity to build a culture like that, you can do that. But until then, you kind of have to sit back a lot of the times and play the game. If you want to make the money that you want to make, if you want to get to the positions that you want to make, or you want to get to, it's about playing the game a lot of the times. I've had an executive call me before and say, Antor, you want me to mentor you anymore? Because I made him look bad one time. Not intentionally. Not intentionally, but it happens. So it's about playing the game, guys. If you're in the military, certain things as a lower ranked individual you can't say to somebody with a superior position. You can make sure you get that information to them, but there's certain things in certain meetings you can't say. And you can't do. And the key is to make sure if you want to get to making that 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, whatever it is, you have to network. You have to know people. You have to know people. You have to be invested into people as well. You have to know how they run their ship. And this is even me working with clients of mine and understanding how their leaders operate their business. I know someone who works for a top technology manufacturer. And I can tell you like this. One of our executives got kicked out of the room because he said something that wasn't in line with what this executive said. Literally got dismissed on the spot. What are you saying? Oh, okay. That's true. Well, you can just leave the room right now. It's a power play. And if you do that to an executive at another company, everybody's going to respect you. But everybody's going to fall in line as well, too. And that's how they run their ship. Chain of command. And if you buy into that, you're going to go far in your career. If you don't, it doesn't work. You think about it in the household as well, too. Your kids have to fall in line with what mom and dad, what their principles are, what their guiding system is like. You have to fall in line to it. Otherwise, you get out of the house. You create your own house. Same thing. Networking, understanding power dynamics, and so forth. It's going to get you to the money. But broadly, let me get back to this one. It's being perceived as professional is really about navigating workplace culture, Cooper said. Then another key is networking. A mentor can help you understand the office hierarchy or the preferences of particular personalities. And high achieving alumni show what's possible. Broadly, it's true that professionalism is historically associated with male or white maleness, but there are a lot of Morehouse grads in influential positions, Cooper said, and having access to them helps students. Young black professionals, their perception of professionalism is not defined by white males, but those who are in positions of influence, they are successful who look to their model their careers after. Prime example, guys. You get to VP level, SVP level, CEO level, you're going to have others that are going to look at you and say, this is the example of professionalism. When you don't have the people in these positions and they are just white males or any other ethnic group out there, you're going to perceive them to be professional. So if you want to change the dynamics of what professionalism look like, or what professionalism look like, you have to strive to be in those positions of power and create what that looks like for the people that you want it to look like for. I'm CEO. I'm going to dress up in a nice little Under Armour shirt, wearing comfortable clothes. People are going to look at me as professionalism or professional. And that's, they're going to say that's the definition of professionalism and what it looks like, at least from how I dress. So you create the environment that you want to see by being in positions of power that allows you to create it on your own. That's game, guys. That's game. All right. I wanted to share that one with you.